I have noticed a very interesting aspect as an entrepreneur that good things seem to happen to me and to my startup when I least expect it. There have been so many occasions where I thought that a deal was sure to come through. An investor loved me so much that he's just waiting to sign the checkbook or anything of that nature. But many a times it falls through, and many a time I don't even know what the reason is for it falling through. But then out of the blue, you experience things that you never expect to come through. For example, one of my earliest customers who we stopped working with a couple of years ago, out of the blue, suddenly came to me, emailed me saying that, hey, I would love to work with you and the Xena team again. Now, when they left or when they stopped working with us a couple of years ago, I thought that it was because they didn't like what they saw, or they didn't like me, or they didn't like my team. I was surprised when they came back, and then finally it revealed to me that the reason that they left was because they couldn't afford me at that time. So it just goes to show that when things happen to you, you inevitably try to justify it, you try to make sense of it. When many a time I realize that a lot of decisions, especially business decisions, are made with an emotional angle or are made for reasons that you might not easily or foreseeably understand. So it just makes the job of an entrepreneur that much harder, where your livelihood and your work depends on how others think and the decisions that they make, be it customers, investors, or your employees. And as an entrepreneur, you're expected to overcome any failures, any negativity, keep not just the team's morale up, but your own as well. And sometimes it does get hard. Probably one of the reasons why entrepreneurs are celebrated so much in the society, that they have to go through all this, especially as a CEO, where on a daily basis you are bought the worst of the worst situations and you're expected to deal with it. You're expected to give directions to it, and you're expected to pull the company through it, of course, at the same time taking along with your team and all the other stakeholders as well. So the aspect of expecting the unexpected is unnerving to a huge degree, because that proves that a majority of the things that happens in your life is out of your control. And just the thought is scary, because then what is the point of pushing yourself so hard, and what is the point of sacrificing so much in the hopes that something will happen? Or is it just that at the end of the day, no matter how much you work hard, it's just that your probability of quote unquote success at that time goes from 0.0005% to maybe 0.005%? Is that all that is? And if so, is working hard really worth it? Well, it's just one of those questions where you ponder, where you know there are a million things not in your control, but the only thing in your control is your ability to push yourself and your ability to see that your vision stays alive for another day. And so I try to keep myself moving with very little expectations from anybody except myself. I am also aware of a story in, I believe it's Bhagavad Gita, a religious Hindu text, where Lord Krishna says to Arjuna in one of the segments of the story that a true leader is one who is like a rock. He does not have any expectations. There is no ups, there is no downs. A true leader is one who looks at a rock and looks at a pile of gold coins in the same way, with the logic being that even if good things happen or bad things happen, the leader moves forward. The leader is unperturbed by the outcome of his actions. Rather, his focus is on the actions itself. And I think that is a wonderful sentiment. I think that's a very hard sentiment to um, incorporate into your life, and very easy to forget because we are so driven by results that our dopamine levels are dependent on external factors, external results, what people say. It just gets really hard sometimes, honestly. It just gets really difficult to keep moving forward when you're faced with a string of bad news after bad news after bad news. But then you would just have to pick yourself up and fight to live another day. As an entrepreneur, you learn this pretty quickly. I'm sure in other fields as well. It's one of those things that makes you wise over time. It's one of those things that makes you appreciate the smaller things in life. And you know, expect the unexpected always.